Welcome back to the TV Watercooler podcast. In this episode, we're speaking with Survivor contestants Jess Chong and Venus Vafa. These two Canadians make their debut in this week's 46th season premiere that's airing this Wednesday, February 28th at 8 p.m. on Global in Canada. The first part of our interview is with Jess Chong, who is a 37-year-old software engineer who grew up in Hong Kong and Toronto and is now living in San Francisco. Jess offers us insight into what could make Canadians thrive on Survivor, which qualities she'd like fans to remember her by, and some of her favorite TV shows. So let's start with risk. I read that you moved to San Francisco and you called it was kind of sight unseen. And, it worked out quite well for you professionally. How familiar were you with Survivor before auditioning? And looking back at both, which do you feel was the bigger risk?
Oh, wow. Okay. So before auditioning for Survivor, I actually did not start watching Survivor until I moved to San Francisco. So until I was like 30 or something like that. I started watching Survivor in like 2016 or 2017. And mostly because when it first came out, I was more interested in watching. Okay, I'm probably not allowed to say that, but Survivor actually came out when I was still in high school, when I was living in Toronto. But I was more interested in watching Temptation Island, honestly, because it just seemed trashier. And I was a teenager. But so between going on Survivor and moving to San Francisco, they're both huge risks. Moving to San Francisco, I didn't know anybody except for my husband, the man who is now my husband. And I have some relatives here, but they don't actually live in the city. I just didn't have any roots here, and I had never lived here before. I didn't even know if I would like software engineering, so that was a huge risk to upend my entire life and leave everything that I knew and loved behind, and come here. Survivor is a different kind of risk because you basically how much control and agency do people really have through the whole process of being in the game and also after the game. But it's been extremely fun and unpredictable. Everything is a roller coaster, and that's the way I like my life to be anyway. So
awesome. Now you watched it with your husband. I'm taking he's a fan. Did he also audition?
Pardon?
Has he also auditioned for the show?
I think he's got a bit more I'm trying to think of the most tactful way to put this. I think he knows himself very well, and I think that I sense that I think he's got too much dignity to apply for it.
But there was no it wasn't competitive. Hey, how you made it? And
No, it wasn't competitive at all. And I know there's been lots of stories of people where there's a couple that applied and then one person got on and the other one didn't. I think he just knows himself and he knows what he loves, and he's got a very rich life. I think he wasn't I need to enrich my life by going on TV and running around in my underwear. I think he was my life is great.
What aspect of the show were you the most nervous about?
Oh, the aspect that I was most nervous about was the sun. I do not like the sun. I mean, I hide from the sun. I wear sunscreen every day, even when I'm indoors. So I was actually please say there's more shade than it looks like there is.
Right. With Canadians finding success on Survivor, what do you think makes us so good at this game?
Okay, my sense is that because Canada is such a melting pot and so much of its national identity is that, we embrace a lot of different kinds of people. I think Canadians that play the game have traditionally been very good at being among people that are very different from them and knowing when to hang back. And I think the being polite can go a very long way. Or okay, that's gonna make it sound like I think Americans are not polite, but you know what I mean. That's what Canadians are known for. When I go on the TTC and I accidentally bump into someone, both of us are sorry, that does not happen here. Even in San Francisco, that does not happen here. But there does feel like there is a marked difference in how how people treat strangers. And I think that Canadians have an advantage in the game because there is this sense of like, especially in the early tribe dynamics of let's all try to get along.
Yeah, awesome. And now, as someone who mentors in your everyday life and in your career, did you
Mhm.
compelled to take anyone under your wing on the show?
Pardon?
Did
Did
you,
I want to?
yeah, or did you feel compelled? Like, sometimes it's second nature to have that, allyship or, taking someone under your wing.
I'm trying to think about how to answer that without
Right.
going too much into the details of the game. I did like going into the game, I do feel like it is in my nature to try to help people, especially when I feel like they're working against their own best interests, or everyone is their own worst enemy. And so for me, I felt like it would be important to help people if I wanted to help them, um, see how they were working against themselves.
Nice. Thank you. Um, what qualities do you hope to be remembered by from some of the other players or from the viewers?
I hope people will remember me as me. I feel like I was completely myself out there. Well, as myself as one could be under the strain of the elements, but as completely myself as I could be. And I hope that comes across. I hope that's like that is such a throwaway answer, but I hope people will remember someone who's like unafraid to just be silly and weird because
Just
I always wanted to see that on TV when I was growing up.
and just to clarify, you said elements under the elements, not elephants.
I love both.
Both. Oh, okay. Exciting. Outside of Survivor, what are some of your favorite shows, and what was the last show that you binge watched?
Okay, so my favorite shows outside of Survivor are Pen 15, which I don't know if I'm allowed to say on TV. I love Pen 15. In fact, I don't know if this is a good or bad thing. My father-in-law called me and he was like, Jess, Maya reminds me of you. And I was like, well, I'm an adult and she's like 13, but I could totally see the resemblance. So I love Pen 15. I'm watching Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I think I'm just watching everything that Maya Erskine is in because I love her. I was watching Succession. I missed the finale. I could not tell you the plot of it, but but I love watching Succession as well. And growing up, oh my gosh, this is like the most important thing that I need to convey to you. Growing up, I don't know if you ever watched Ghostwriter on PBS.
Yeah.
It was about this show about these kids that lived in Brooklyn, and it was like these kids with all these different backgrounds, and you got a little glimpse into their family lives. And there was like a family that lives on top of a bodega. I was obsessed with that show, and I had a diary, and I would write in it like every day. I pray to God that I could become a member of the Ghostwriter team. And being on Survivor is my ghostwriter. Like it's been so crazy to meet people from all walks of life. I think that was the thing that I was most excited about playing the game was to have my own ghostwriter and to kind of get a glimpse into other people's lives and into how other people think that are like profoundly different from me.
That is awesome. I love that answer. I loved watching Ghost Rider growing up too, with the Max Minutes and like all the spy stuff. That was awesome. So thank you
Yeah.
for the answers, and can't wait to watch this season. And thank you for taking the time today. In our second interview, you're going to meet Venus Vafa, who is a 24-year-old data analyst from Toronto and gives us a glimpse into her Survivor experience, including what it felt like getting dirty as a clean freak and what makes Canadians also do well on the show, and the qualities that she's looking for in an ally. Okay, so you described yourself as a clean freak in another interview. How did you handle the messiness of being on Survivor?
Oh yeah, it was a very there was so much growth in this journey, is all I'll say. I had to like spiritually detach myself from my cleanliness and just accept the dirt. Me and the dirt became one at that point, and I just mentally I blocked it out because otherwise I would have driven myself insane the entire time.
Yeah, like how do you clean outdoors? That's just, yeah.
You don't. You don't. Your nails are like forever stained in gunk, and your mouth tastes disgusting all the time. So it's a great experience.
So it's fair to say that the first thing you did after you got home was a shower.
Deep shower, brush my teeth, which was amazing.
Now, you didn't start watching Survivor until the pandemic, so you only had a few years to absorb all that content and gameplay. Would you say you had a better advantage of because you absorbed all that in a few short years versus other contestants who've watched it over 20 years?
Oh, 100%. It was like fresh in my mind because I had binged like the first 20 seasons during COVID and like continued watching after that. So I had the benefit of like having the OG Survivor era fresh in my mind, as well as the new era fresh in my mind. So I was able to like combine that knowledge and really it helped my gameplay a lot.
Awesome. And now, what aspect of the show made you the most nervous?
Oh, which aspect made me the most nervous? Honestly, none of it, because I knew that it was going to be a tough experience. I just knew it was like going to be difficult for me, but that's why I wanted to do it. I wanted that challenge. And for that reason, I just wasn't nervous. I was going to take everything as like a learning opportunity and like just this like while I was in Fiji for God's sakes. Like it was like amazing. So yeah, it was not so much nervousness, more excitement.
Awesome. Now, Canadians, with Canadians finding success on Survivor, what do you think makes us good at this game?
They don't see us coming, honestly. I feel like these Americans and their egos, not to get canceled right away, but like they are very full of themselves and they think that this is their game. If anything, they probably think that they should be the next Jeff Probst. But as a Canadian, you come with this sort of like you're more humble and you come with a sort of gratitude for the game that I feel like helps you sort of maneuver in a more low-key way, you know?
What qualities do you look for in an ally?
Oh, I'm very much someone who looks for loyalty, and that's something I can really tell in a person if they're going to be deeply loyal to me or if they're just going to stab me in the back. So definitely loyalty above all else is the most important quality.
And what qualities do you hope to be remembered from by the other players in the game and the viewers?
Uh, Tough, no nonsense, just in my own way, strong, I guess. The whole reason why I went on this show and my whole journey is dedicated to the brave women of Iran who are going through a revolution right now. So, what I would like to be remembered for is for the conversation I hope to stimulate by being there and being another brown face on one of the most popular reality shows in the landscape of media in the 21st century. You know, like that is huge in and of itself. So, what I like to be remembered for is advocating woman life freedom my entire journey. Yeah.
Awesome. And outside of Survivor, what are some of your favorite shows? And what was the last show that you binged?
What's going to be my next favorite show that I've been saving for all the episodes to come out so I can binge it is Traders, because obviously I'm a huge Parvati fan and she's on that season. So I cannot wait to binge watch that. And I know the drama, I live for the drama. But my other favorite show is Drag Race. I'm obsessed with Drag Race Canada and obviously the US version. Those drag queens really inspire me in my own confidence. So definitely one of my favorite shows.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time today and can't wait to see you on this
Yeah.
season.